These are this afternoon's top stories. Another shipment of COVID-19 vaccines arrives today. Barbados Prime Minister calls for equitable access to health care, and Qatar Airways launches world's first fully vaccinated flight. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Wednesday, the 7th of April, 2021. I'm Jason Davis. Nationally, the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis will be receiving its share of COVID-19 vaccines through the COVAX facility later today. The COVAX facility, to which St. Kitts and Nevis is a member, is a global effort co-led by the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, the Gavi Vaccine Alliance, UNICEF, the World Health Organization, the Pan American Health Organization as well. Officials from the Ministry of Health have confirmed that the country will receive its full total of 21,600 doses of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine today as a result of its participation in the Global Alliance. The Federation secured its portion of vaccines through the arrangement by paying the required sum of $223,660. The Caribbean Public Health Agency paid just over $96,000 on behalf of the Federation, while the government paid the balance of $127,497. The vaccines will be received during a brief ceremony at the RLB International Airport this afternoon at 1:30. His Excellency Ambassador Ian Quealy was among a number of dignitaries and invited guests who attended a gathering with the Chief Rabbi of Morocco as they celebrated the Jewish holiday known as Passover. Ambassador Quealy, COP, Commissioner of Police retired, who is the resident ambassador to the Kingdom of Morocco to the OECS sub-region, was invited to the reception held at the residence of the Chief Rabbi of Morocco. The Jewish holiday on Monday, April 5, saw the culmination of a one-week period with a number of events marking its freedom from exile for over 3,000 years. According to businessman and spokesperson to the Rabbi Yaakov Flitchkin, who also attended the gathering, when the Chief Rabbi of Morocco, Yoshiyahu Pinto, met with Ambassador Quealy, he spoke of his interest in visiting St. Kitts and Nevis and other Caribbean islands and offered to give his support in various areas to assist the Caribbean. Ambassador Quealy said it was a pleasure for him to meet with the Chief Rabbi of Morocco, Yoshiyahu Pinto, and exchanged words of greetings on behalf of St. Kitts and Nevis and the Eastern Caribbean on a whole. The Rabbi Charitable Organization gives donations and money to people all over the world as part of its tradition of helping the needy. The Israeli-Moroccan Orthodox rabbi leads a global organization called Motzdot Shuva Israel, based in Morocco, New York, Israel, France, South America, and more. He's a Kabbalist admired by rabbis and Jewish leaders from around the world and has a following of tens of thousands globally. The main event of the Passover is a festival meal in which the book of Exodus and related writings are recited, and for the duration of the holiday, it's forbidden to eat certain food products. We wrap up with a touch of sports. KFC United Old Road Jets mauled Trafalgar South Stars 12-0. We join Andre Huey for this report.
Tiquani Williams of KFC United Old Road Jets was the star of the night in the third of a SKNFA Premier League triple header on Sunday. He scored a hat-trick, delivered a handful of assists, and bossed the match as Old Road mauled Trafalgar South Stars 12-0 in the SKNFA Premier League at the Warner Park. Nequan Brown, Kamike Pemberton, Cordell Joseph, and others all got a piece of the goal-scoring action. It was one-way traffic for virtually the entire match, as Old Road had 18 shots on target. South Stars only one. Eventually, referee Nicholas Rose ended the match 3 minutes before regulation time, as if to exercise the mercy rule for South Stars. South Stars player Rendell Theodule was sent off late in the match after picking up his second yellow card. Hence, South Stars finished the game with 10 players. After the match, coach of the Old Road Jets, Lester Morris, lauded his team for keeping a clean sheet and getting as many goals as possible.
Yeah, we came into this game thinking about keeping a clean sheet, and I thought that we was equal to that. The other thing was basically to go out there and get as much goal as possible, and again we would have demonstrated that by getting 12 goals tonight, 12 unanswered goals. I thought that the guys would have exuberated themselves well. They kept possession of the ball well. And of course, the things that we did on the training pitch came to fruition tonight. The guys really crashed the box. We had both strikers crashing the box, and at least the CAM as well crashing the box. And the person's playing, if we're playing from the left to the right side, then the opposite person's crashing from the outside as well. And so most of our goals tonight was cleanly taken, and I must tip my hats to the guys tonight. Well played.
The huge victory meant Old Road have shot up into 4th place ahead of Fast Cash Saddlers on goal difference. With those 12 unanswered goals in the South Stars match, and with the results from Saddlers in their earlier match, Old Road has a goal difference of +4, 4 ahead of Saddlers +10. South Stars, on the other hand, having suffered 2 losses in 5 days, are at the bottom of the table yet to register a point. They lost to newly promoted Hot Springs Bath United in their last encounter last week Wednesday, giving Bath their first win of the season.
We now move to news on the regional scene. Barbados' Prime Minister is calling for equitable access to health care in order to combat the COVID-19 pandemic at the WHO virtual press conference. More in this report.
Equitable access to health care across all territories is the only way for countries to better combat both the short and long-term effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and other healthcare disasters. Prime Minister Mia Mottley made that case as she addressed the World Health Organization virtual press conference on Tuesday. She said that the current pandemic has played havoc on predominantly smaller and poorer nations, and regions such as the Caribbean have been left on the sidelines in terms of equitable access to vaccines and other when compared to larger nations.
In the Caribbean, our journey has been torturous over the last year. And Dr. Tedros, I know that you have tried to intervene on numerous occasions to assist us. But the bald reality is that our market size in many instances is simply too small to command the attention of global pharmaceutical companies or indeed of other suppliers of goods in the normal supply chain that will lead for therapeutics distribution, vaccine distribution. And the bottom line is that we have also separately been regarded by the global community as countries that have come out of the depths of poverty and therefore are not deserving of assistance in the traditional ways normally reserved for the most vulnerable. This has made life difficult. We've held on to the promise of COVAX, but for many globally, this has been a difficult exercise because as we've seen the spikes can literally grow, we've not had access even when we are prepared to pay. It is against this background, therefore, that the first call to action of equitable access to COVID-19 vaccines, tests, and treatments within and between countries is one with which we can relate.
St. Lucia's Ministry of Education, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, is facilitating an immunization program this week for teachers and school staff in preparation for the reopening of school on April 19. The Ministry of Education is also reporting the reopening of 82 private early childhood centers, which took effect Tuesday, April 6. More in this report.
Guided by the Department of Health, the Ministry of Education is preparing for the reopening of school for the third term, the shortest term of the school year, on April 19, 2021. Later this week, the Ministry will be running webinars for parents to address concerns they may have. The Ministry has also approved the reopening of 82 private early childhood centers effective Tuesday, April 6, 2021.
We also note that today, Tuesday the 6th, our private early childhood educational institutions have begun operations as per the environmental health team and approval for up to 82 centers that have been given permission to move on into allowing our students back in, allowing our children back into the early childhood sector.
The Ministry of Health is also offering stakeholders in the education sector, especially teachers, the chance to get inoculated in preparation for the new school term. To this end, special arrangements have been put in place to facilitate their immunization during the week of April 6 to 9th, 2021. The teachers and staff of all schools are encouraged to visit one of the vaccination sites closest to their homes to receive their first dose of the vaccine.
We've been very pleased to have worked collaboratively with the Department of Health to the point is that the Department of Health is offering our teachers and other members of our team, all of our stakeholders in the education system, opportunities also for immunization and vaccination.
Dr. Philip Meyer will be meeting with the National Youth Council to answer whatever questions they may have on the subject. For the DBS News World, I am Don Nicholas.
Internationally, Qatar Airways has launched the world's first fully vaccinated flight against COVID-19 on Tuesday. The flight, which took off from Doha and circled neighboring countries before returning home, carried staff and passengers who had received the coronavirus shots. The coronavirus pandemic has devastated the travel industry, and some airlines say they will likely require passengers to be jabbed before they can travel. Al Jazeera's Dorsa Jabari reports.
These Qatar Airways staff members are all fully vaccinated, and so are all these passengers. The airline wants to reassure millions of people that air travel is safe even during the pandemic.
We want to be the first airline in the world to do a fully vaccinated flight, both including passengers and the crew. And you know, Qatar has a very aggressive vaccination program, and so we, at the airline level, have a very aggressive vaccination program. We have vaccinated nearly 20,000 of our employees, and we vaccinate around 1,000 employees every day.
These passengers, including many members of the media and officials, were eager to take off. Qatar Airways has introduced new touchless screens, so using your mobile phone you can access all the onboard information and entertainment you need.
There are 18 crew members on board this flight, as well as 181 passengers. Now, the crew members that I've spoken to so far say they feel this flight is a little bit more relaxed for them in terms of they feel more secure that all the passengers have been vaccinated, and they admit that it has been quite a difficult year for them doing their job.
Valerie Joy Wilson is a social media influencer who had traveled from New York to take part in this flight.
People that want to travel, it's a great time to get back to travel. Travel is safe. You just have to be safe and responsible, and we're here showcasing that today. Of course, there's no pressure to travel. Like, you don't have to travel until you feel comfortable.
Other travel bloggers were also excited about the return of regular flights.
I came from Dubai to be on this historical first fully vaccinated flight. I'm very, very proud to be a passenger on this flight.
How does it feel? How is it going so far? What do you think?
It's fantastic. I mean, there's a bit of sense of return to normal. There's a lot of hopes. I can see people really enjoying the flight, looking out the window. A lot of people hasn't traveled for over a year. So this flight, hopefully, it's the start of the norm, and we can all get back to our normal daily routine in life.
And this doctor is trying to make that happen in Qatar. Soha Al-Bayat is heading the country's vaccination drive and had a message for those who want to return to something approaching normality.
I hope this emphasizes the importance of vaccination. And I think it's a strong message by the airline, our national carrier. And it's a great flight with many people who are advocating vaccination.
While this flight left and returned to Doha without landing anywhere else, it provided some hope that air travel can make a comeback in the midst of COVID-19. Dorsa Jabari, Al Jazeera, Doha.
And now for the weather. Current conditions are cloudy with a gentle breeze of 10 miles per hour from a north-northeasterly direction. The temperature is 28 degrees Celsius or 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Seas are moderate with waves not exceeding 1.5 meters or 5 feet. The weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis today says to expect partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 40% or moderate chance of brief afternoon showers, and for tonight, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a light early morning rain. Sunset today will be at 6:25 p.m., sunrise tomorrow at 6:01 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Jason Davis.